Today we're going to learn how to make this Peter Pan collar. We have different type of Peter Pan collars. So we have the one that stops on the shoulder, just like this one here, and we have the one that goes around the neckline and stop at the back, the center back, where we have our zipper, or we have our fastener, the slit, and the button, and so on like that. But this one that stops on the shoulder is what we're going to be learning in this tutorial today. Since we are just going to be attaching to the front bodice, so we're going to be needing our front bodice alone. So without further ado, let's just get started. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to make the Peter Pan collar, also known as the baby collar. So in this tutorial, we're going to be doing the freehand method. Just like every other collar, we are going to need neckline, which is of course on a bodice. So I'm going to be using this piece of fabrics to illustrate a bodice and a collar. So this green color is going to be used for the collar, this will be used for the bodice, and this will be used for a facing. So we're going to be working on the front bodice alone, and I'm going to use this widest fabric as the facing. So I just want us to assume that this is the bodice that you want to attach the collar to. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a neckline. I'm going to be cutting out a neckline here, and we're going to be using the round neckline. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly cut out a neckline using our basic neckline measurement of 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, so depending on what you're trying to achieve or what you're working on, you can use more than 3 inches. Then do not forget your shoulder slope. I'm also going to be cutting out a shallow armhole. This is just to assume it is a bodice. So guys, this is the bodice you're going to be using. Now I want to cut out the facing. So for the facing, you're going to definitely get a fabric that matches your actual fabric. Just for the tutorial sake, you're going to be using this piece of black material. Okay, whatever fabric you're using for the facing, it has to be cut on fold. Remember that the bodice is also on fold. Do not forget that. The facing is about 8 inches long, then it's about 6.5 inches wide on fold. So that means I have about 13 inches altogether. So we're going to place it on it like so. You trace out the shoulder, decide on how wide you want the facing to be. But I'm going to exhaust all of this fabric. I already calculated it from the beginning. So then you're going to cut it out. Then you will decide on the wideness of the facing. So for this one, I just want to make it 3 inches. So the wideness I'm using is 3 inches. By the time I finish sewing, I'm going to have 2 inches left. Okay, so I'm going to stitch ½ inch on the neckline, then ½ inch to fold the hem of the facing. So yours might be wider than that, but because it's just a facing, it shouldn't be more than that. Okay, so once you mark it out, cut it out. Now we have the facing. Remember, I'm going to be using this material for the collar. So I'm going to be folding the fabric this way. It has to be on fold. Do not forget that. Then I'm going to place the neckline on it this way. So, but before then, you place about ½ an inch here. Okay, you make sure it's ½ an inch away. Do you understand? About ½ an inch from the start. Okay, then you're going to trace the neckline, the shoulder out, just like we did for the first one. So I'm going to trace it out this way. Okay, so just you can see the lines. So after this, you're going to decide on the wideness. All right, so I'm going to measure this time around. I'm going to make it about 3.5 inches. I've marked 3.5 inches now. So what we're going to do is to create that shape that we used to have. So from this edge now, you go in by about 1 inch. From this edge, you measure about 1 inch. From this edge, and from this point, you connect from this edge. After cutting, you have something like this. Do you understand? So after cutting it, you cut. So I'm going to be cutting double for each of this so that we can use it to face it. So now we have the complete piece. So that we're going to stitch from this corner, from this curved breast, we'll stitch round, stitch from this curved part, you stitch back like this. This is going to be on the shoulder, this is going to be on the neckline. Now I'm done sewing, and this is what I have. As you can see, I just hope you can see the sewing lines. I don't want to use a contrasting thread, but then I'm sure you can see. So once you're done with that, the curved part, you're going to notch the curved part so that it will relax very well when you want to turn it around, and you give it a proper press to iron it very well. Okay, so once you're done with that, you're going to turn to the right side. So this is what it's going to look like. Okay, now we can now attach it to the neckline. So avoid confusion, you can just notch the center of neckline just to make sure that you're placing the collar on the right spot. So I'm going to place it at the center, then I'm going to pin it. You're going to sew it round like so. All right, so if you do not have a facing, or you don't want to have a facing on your own, instead of placing it on the right side like this, you're going to place it on the wrong side. After sewing, you bring it back to the right side, then you top stitch. Okay, but this one we want to have a facing, so we just place it on the right side and we use the facing to secure the neckline. Now you're going to come into facing, you place it on it like so. I just hope you can see. So you place it facing on the neck, then you stitch round and bring it to the wrong. So on the facing, as you can see, do you see the facing now? So I'm going to notch. So once that you place it like this, then you are going to top stitch on the lining all through. As you can see now, I've top stitched on it. So that is why I use a contrasting color so that we'll see clearly. So you top stitch on the lining, and this is what it's going to give you. So it's just going to secure the lining from popping out or coming out or just disturbing the neckline. So just to secure the lining to the actual fabric. This is what you're going to have at the end of the day. This is what your Peter Pan collar should look like if you are going to be having a single collar, the one that is not going to extend to the back part, is going to stop on the shoulder. That'll be all for today's tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you find it helpful, kindly click on the like button, and I'm very sure there are other people that need this tutorial just like you just found it. Click on the share button so we can reach as many audience as possible who might also find this tutorial helpful. Click on the subscribe button if you are yet to join the trend, and if you have any other tutorial you want me to make a video on, let me know in the comment section. What do you think about this tutorial? Let me know in the comment section. So we'll meet again in my next one. Bye bye.